It's a new year, my brother.
Yeah, new year, new year, same me,
Yeah,
baby.
I was about to say that.
Volume three, baby. We about to go on to volume 41. Same me.
It's all on me, volume three.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, I still like the symbolism of it all though with the new
Yeah.
year. It's because we do live in, we do timestamp things in our mind. Like you remember years when specific things happen, specific
Yes.
losses and stuff. So, um, yeah, I actually feel a bit uh sorrowful, as New Year's approach, man. I was doing a little journaling last night and had my eyes, I was teary-eyed, man. You
Beautiful.
probably saw my tears. The one that told
That's
you,
that.
you
Yes.
probably saw my tears.
Yes.
Nah, but it is I think one of the things about it that kind of brings about that one, I have trouble living in the moment. And
Mm.
then when I think about like these kind of thresholds, even if it's something arbitrary like a year in that makes me reflect on like everything that's happened, time spent with people, and just the thought that, that could be last year, could be the last year that I had with them. And was I present enough is like my question, and the answer is
Mm.
always no. No, you weren't. You were not present enough. You were probably fretting about the future, as you do.
Oh, bro, I love everything you just said. But all that's so important though, brother. And there's no how can we overcome these idiosyncrasies of ours or these elements of our mentalities or whatever, however you want to put it, characterize it. How the hell are we going to overcome it and become better unless we speak to it? And that journaling, you know why I know I'm truly on some other stuff? Because when you said that you was journaling and tears came in your eyes, bro, I think that's beautiful on just another level. Like, there's nothing that I can compare it to that people talk about. It's beautiful to me in the most human sense, like just that tapping into your humanity in that intimate way. I think it's so poetic to me because it's just not done normally enough. People do it. People definitely do it. But my hope, my dream is that human beings more and more make it like a crazy norm, brother, because so much of a lot of the badness that will inevitably come in 2026, it will be largely due to a lack of that kind of exercise, a lack of that kind of practice, a lack of that kind of intimacy with one's humanity. Because we're talking about not being able to be present properly. I mean, brother, that's it. I mean, that's it.
I
And
know that's
everybody
that's
suffers.
where we are, yeah, as a society, man. It's just like not present. And the phone is like just a little, I mean, it just sucks time, attention, everything. It's just like a black hole that just sucks everything about your humanity into this little vortex, and you don't know where it goes. But time just is wasted. You look up and it's been like 2 hours.
A black hole is especially when you really peep what a black hole is at the level of
Right.
like physics, like it truly is a very apt comparison. It really is a black hole. Nothing in return. Nothing. It's all lost information, just zoop, gone. Time gone. Uh, Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. It's again, brother, something to talk about. Love talking about it. Why? So that being said, if I were to ask you about your resolutions, then so to speak, what would you say that you really want to aspire towards in 2026, using the symbology of today?
It is truly, bro, just to be more present. It is
Mm.
like try to like find a way, bro, to be like just finding that secret um to being more present. What's the magic? What's the secret sauce there, man, to like not close out a given year or period or any experience and feel like you didn't, you get everything out of it in terms of like the appreciation and gratitude. Um, that would be it because I suffer from, just that just nostalgia. It's a
Mm,
condition for me, man. I tend to only love those things most that I miss. And like when I'm in the presence of them, I don't, I don't fully appreciate it.
mm,
And that goes for everything, especially just people in general. But the thing that comes to mind is always relationships because those are the people who kind of, you have for a specific slice of time and then they're gone. So it's like a very stark thing versus, your parents or other loved ones who are just there throughout your life and then they're gone and there's no prospect of getting them back. Like with
mm,
relationships, you can always think about that person as somewhere else. Not always, but generally, if it's like truly a voluntary breakup or something,
mm.
you could always think back and be like, oh, I missed them. It's like, well, why did you miss them? Why did you walk away from them? Or why did they walk away from you? But yeah, it's that's what I'm looking for, bro. I just wanna be more present and appreciate the people and just everything that's around me that kind of makes up the ground that I kind of walk on mentally and physically every day.
I truly do love that, and I apologize because I love the topic of presence and being present and being anchored to the each moment. Uh, Let me ask you this: if you could take a guess as to what the impediments are that are obstructing this competency, this ability to be in the present, uh, what would you guess? I'm just gonna tell you my guesses. I suppose let me just say my guesses before you give me yours. I would say that every day is so hard for you in general as a result due to having to summon up obligatory energy, the utilization of your free will to accomplish all of the obligatory tasks is exhausting because your default and your naturalistic setting, so to speak, where we not to have obligations, is more of uh, relatively free-spirited, relatively easygoing, lackadaisical in many ways.
Some
And
might
as
say lazy.
you can just say I'm lazy and shit. It's
I
all
love
good.
a lazy day, man. Yeah, I love freedom, bro, and that's like the ultimate freedom right there to not have obligations. And I feel like I'm not lazy in the sense of I just want to lay in bed all day. But yeah, I don't want to be burdened by certain types of responsibility outside of those that feel most genuine, which are like motivated by a sense of love or loyalty or those things to the people who make up my life.
Mm,
But that's where, things like work, it's an indirect, relationship to that love that you have. Because I mean, being able to afford to care for people who I love is important too. So that's why I
mm,
have to summon that, that will and kind of put things in perspective. But on top of that, none of it comes easy. So I think I struggle too when things are hard and challenging, and I have to yeah figure that shit out. And I'm like, and I don't want to, or I'm not interested in it, you know.
yes.
But I have to do it. So I'm kind of burdened by that. And I think it just prevents me from like sometimes being chill, relaxed, and just enjoying the moment.
And is there anything, because I threw that out there, but is there anything else that you would say is a factor uh, 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 in regards to preventing you from being able to be present in the way that you would like to?
I feel like, man, most of the time when I have that separation and freedom, when I'm on a vacation, I feel like I can be more present.
Mm,
Um, because I don't, when I do have freedom, I don't have that sense that I have to do everything.
Mm.
So I'm not one of those people who, when I'm off, I gotta go here, I gotta go there, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Or even if I like go to a different place, I don't feel like, oh, I gotta go see this, I gotta see that, I gotta eat that. I'm just more like I'm really enjoying the kind of relief of certain obligations. That's why I like vacation. I think some people like it, primarily to explore different things. I like that when I'm in a different place, all of the things that might pull me, all of the senses of obligation, all of the, whether it be work or whether it be like certain just tasks, things that I have to do at home, it's not an option.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not there. So it's like just being in that space of there's nothing that, ties to my everyday life that I can do in this moment. So I might as well just enjoy this long, aimless walk and
No,
see some things and eat some food and maybe hold somebody's hand or crack some jokes, whatever it is, just enjoying that being with people, or even observing people if I'm by myself.
I'm gonna ask you one last question about this, about being present. What does that look like for you then on a next week, the start of your normal work week? What would it look like for you to earnestly and sincerely put that effort in? Like what is the appearance of it when you imagine?
I think one of the big things for me is like especially with work stuff, sometimes overthinking things,
Mm,
spending too much time like ruminating on stuff and not just kind of thinking, put in, decent amount of thought into it, not being distracted while I'm thinking about it, not thinking about the next task or, other emails that are coming through, other things that are lingering in the back of my mind, and just more like, I need to do this. I carved out time for it. Let me be efficient with that time, knock it out, and then move on to the next thing, and then being content at the end of the day and just knowing that I've done enough, and then from there, just appreciating, time with significant other or family or whoever it is that's just like in my immediate space. Because ultimately that's what you do it all for. Other than that, it's like why else are we? I don't know. Um,
indeed.
why yeah, what would be the other reason to like do certain things that, maybe to some extent feel like a burden of sort, um, or at least something that you wouldn't voluntarily do in your free time. Um, like what other obligations? There's a trade-off there. It's like you commit a certain amount of time, you dedicate that time, you put your best foot forward, and then in exchange you get something back. And also
Mhm.
you want to feel like you're doing something purposeful, which I do. Um, and the other thing, I think that for a human being, if we really step back and think about it, although we're habitual and we love routines, there's nothing about us where a 9 to 5, 5 days a week is coded into us. Like there are gonna be some days you wake up and you just don't want to do that. There are certain things that are hunger.
Mhm.
I need food. I need shelter. I need clothing. I got other involuntary movements that have to be made, but I'm not, yeah,
Yeah.
other than
Security,
that,
which is shelter, the security, the food, has to be acquired through the 9 to 5, as
yeah.
opposed to a natural setting where there definitely be way more spontaneity, way more precarious circumstances, but also just lively circumstances as well. But not to romanticize being a hunter-gatherer,
Yeah, yeah.
but
No,
still,
I love the
it's
security that we have, but yeah, it is. You did have a lot. They had more leisure
yeah,
in a sense.
yeah,
There were fewer of them. Some of us may not. I might have ate a walnut,
yeah.
20 years ago, and I wouldn't be here right now. So there's certain modern advances that kind of keep some of us alive. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's the battle there though. It's all the trade-off.
No, it is indeed the trade-off. It is indeed the battle. And this is why when I talk about these kinds of subjects, my brother, certain terms always pop up no matter how much I'm not trying to search for them. And then one term you said battle is the fight of it all, man. It's a fight to be present minded. It's like literally a fight because going back to that black hole of a phone that we got, super powerful, bro. It's crazy powerful. I'm constantly just completely astonished by how powerful the phone is, bro. Like I just now, I purposely force myself. I never do this because I don't watch shows. I don't watch any long form shows. I anymore. Like for the past like 5, 6 years, people tell me about shows all the time. I'm just like, yeah, yeah, but I'm like, I don't watch anything or movies. It is messed up because that's how ADD my brain up. But successfully, I just watched a few shows recently. Some It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I actually paid for it, which I haven't done. I haven't paid for a show in years, but I paid for it on YouTube. I watched a season. I was dying laughing at it. It was so funny, but I forced myself to do it because I really concluded I was like, bro, it would be so much better. 'Cause I appreciate the writing of it, the creativity of it, the acting of it. I'm appreciating for all these other variables, as opposed to watching some nonsensical, random, arbitrary video, which as you going back to the black hole, I'm left with literally nothing. There's nothing that lasts within me. At least when I'm watching a creative show, I can at least be inspired creatively or inspired some different kind of even the theater of it, the drama of it. I was impressed by this one, Glenn Howerton's acting a lot, like just something as opposed to just mouth agape gawking at nonsense. It's just so crazy, brother, that that's what we do. It's insane, actually. It's
Yeah, you know, and the funny thing about it, there's so much information that you take in, but none of it really resonates and you don't hold on to it. I was thinking about this with even music, how easy it was for me to remember the words and lyrics to songs because I heard them so much.
yes.
Like it was so repetitive, like because you listen to the radio, on your way to school and you heard the same shit over and over. Versus now where you just have this universe of music and you listen to all these different songs, but none of them, not enough of them necessarily stick with you in a way where you can actually uh, memorize things in a way. I don't know. I just feel like when I was introduced to certain things, whether it be like poems, music, scripture, all of those things, like I could memorize them in a way
Mm,
now where I take in so much information,
mm,
not enough of it makes an impact. Like it may make an impact in terms of shaping my perspective, but I don't really hold on to the literal words. They're not like etched in my mind and I can't recall them. And, maybe that's not something that's necessary, but I think there is some value in that, because it can force you to like really grasp whatever is being communicated. I use a simple example of a song, but when you think about reading things, it's almost better if you like narrow the amount of things that you read, and really appreciate what's being communicated in them,
hmm
and be able to recall that. Poems is a good one too, where it's like if you're able to recall a poem, that means that it had some impact on you. But it calls for you to have a certain amount of patience, and willingness to reread it. And I don't think we like to revisit certain things over and over. Although we'll watch the same news
Yes.
events,
Yes.
but they're reported in a different way and there's no real depth to it.
No, the news makes me sick with how theatrical it is and how alarmist it constantly is, and then nothing ever. It's not that there's not alarming things happening, but I'm just saying that, like, as a delivery mechanism, as an intention, even when something isn't quite the red level, to make it that it's just so it's about vying for our attention. Everybody just wants to get our attention, to get our click, and it sucks because I'm seeing its consequences in every facet of our mentality and every facet of life. I would like to try to go back to a 2026ers New Year thing. Um,
Yeah, bro, you gotta talk about yours too. What's your You got any specific intentions?
Yeah, if I'd had to say at the moment, as you already know, I'm on this mission I declared a few months ago. The mission, as I define it, roughly speaking, is by the age of 43, I would like to have grown and evolved to such an extent that I look at the version of me now and I'm effectively unrecognizable. And I don't mean literally unrecognizable. I mean just in regards to my habits and my practices. I want to be able to look back and with all due respect be able to say, oh, how quaint,
Yeah,
like what a quaint little life you were leading. Because I just like to. So that being said, the more logistical, practical steps I'm taking, it's just these incremental little wins that I'm having, whether it's reading something that I wouldn't have read on a normal day, or not. It's a lot of not doing things, a lot of not indulging, like just the randomness of the videos of social media. Even having more kind of conversations like this, I would that is an intention of mine. I feel like again, brother, this kind of conversation is so important. This kind of communion is so important, yet it does not occur at a normal basis. And I really strongly feel, how can we look at society and criticize it if we are not being examples of how we believe human beings should be comporting themselves and behaving and just being. And so I think both of us, not because of who we are naturally, but because who we are intentionally, I think is worthy of being broadcasted. And I feel like anybody else, there was a young lady, brother. I'm gonna throw a name on a an old peer I saw. Her name is Ashley. I think Ashley B Comedy. She made this vulnerable video about trying to uh be trying to sever her emotional need. I'm putting it in my words. Her emotional, her need to be approved by her family. There was some term. Everybody has all these new terms, and I can't keep up with it. Like there was a term that she used, um, but it was the sense that trying to sever this desire for approval from her family, which I believe is major. Because I even about a decade ago now, I believe it was, went through a same kind of process where because you have everybody perceives you a certain way, whether it's friends, family, and one second, whether it's friends and family, and when you grow and evolve, there is indeed this fork in the road where there comes a dilemma. My authentic self is going this way, but my family or friends are this way, and then my authentic self will be at odds. It's going to be at odds with my family and friends. And I had that fork in the road, and I took the authentic route. And there was some turbulence. There was indeed some turbulence. It's all good. It's all love. My authentic self is accepted. But even if it wasn't, like McConaughey's line of True Detective, it's taken me too long to reconcile my nature to forego it on your account. So a double downing of, I want to say this too. I realized in my little trance-like meditative state the other day how I had to re-sign, I had to renew my contract with myself with regards to my authentic aspirations. I didn't realize that a part of me, unwittingly, subconsciously, was kind of compromising more than I realized, and I didn't really. So when I realized, I was like, oh, okay, I have to renew that contract and declare my authentic version of myself is 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 too important. It's too restorative. It's too rejuvenative. It's too true for me to compromise. So I want to also make sure I do that. I'm talking about even with strangers. I even see, moved to a new neighborhood. I don't want to even adjust myself one scintilla because again, brother, there's no reason if the person that you seek to be, some people are like, I'm gonna be who I am, and they're really just
yeah,
obnoxious jerks. If the person you seek to be is a is a person that cares about harmony, ultimately. Whatever weirdness is perceived. If I care about harmony and reciprocity and having, meaningful dialogue and truth between us, then like there's no reason at all for me to adjust myself at all, no matter how much it might make somebody uncomfortable. And I thought that was there naturally 100%, but I think I allowed it go like to 90%, which is even 10% too much for me. Um, but I digress. But it yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm curious when you think about the things that you don't want to compromise on. Like one thing that always comes to mind is like your sense of integrity, right?
Yes.
So how would you define or how would somebody discern? Because you brought up the people who are like, I am the way that I am. And it's like they could be rude, obnoxious, all of that. How do you discern between like not willing to compromise on like certain in needs that you have in terms of the way that you engage the world versus like we all have those little particulars particularities like we the wants, right? And those are the areas where we can compromise, but it's like those needs, like if we need a certain amount of harmony and we can't engage in like arguments or debates in a specific way. Like how do you tell the difference between a want and a need so that you then know what you're willing to compromise on?
It's a wonderful question. And if I'm not saying it just because you use these words. I, I engage in a practice consistently where I literally tell myself, I truly do this, and I've been doing it for a few years now. I literally say in my mind, let go of your wants. And I have to say first, I meditate a lot in my own way. Even though I don't meditate in the most ideal way, I do engage in meditation. And you talk about present-mindedness. I don't like talking about this too much because I just want everybody has their own particular paths. And I feel like when we talk about these things, it could then sound as if a person is saying, or I'm saying, I have this thing that other people, but I practice a lot, analyze, putting everything to the front of my consciousness. And I engage in a psychological maneuver where I quite literally force myself to enter into a state of wantlessness, like literally, and I do this consciously. And I constantly strive for it as much as possible. So when I'm in this, after this state successfully occurs, which is a temporary state always, I don't want anything. I believe, this is just my belief, brother. I believe that our default setting should be a wantless state. And then from there, see where you go. Because you talked about the present mindedness, and that's why I'm such a big champion. That's why I really want to tell you too, dog. You mess with Yuval, the dude who wrote *Sapien*. Dog, he even believes in meditation a lot. Like you got to mess with meditation because the practice of meditation has damn near saved my life, I would argue. And so I often my default state is a blank slate in a lot of ways, and so from there, I can very much so confidently decipher what I'm desiring versus what I'm needing. That's why, because I clear the mental pathways to such an extent that I don't have any confusion about what's a desire and what's a need. And I believe that I don't believe that I'm the only one that can do this. I think it's an exercise that one has to engage in. And I'm not saying, and I think I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying there's no margin of error, but that's my process, brother. Like it's not natural at all. It's a state of being that I constantly aspire towards, and I'm obsessed with to my detriment to an extent, because in a lot of ways I'm so obsessed with this entering into this state of wantlessness and this kind of like I call it the holy man state because it's just so strange and odd that uh I think people will look at it like you're trying to be what do you call it? The people who were in the airports in the 70s, the Vishna, the Hari Kari people.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a monk-like state.
yeah.
But that's why when I look at a person in my mind in a cave meditating for 24 hours a day, I can see myself doing that. But I don't want to do that. but I can see myself doing that. And I see, not only can I see myself doing that, I see the merit in it. But that's my way. I, I just want to say this. I think there's a bunch of ways, brother, to potentially address what you just spoke to. I'm just saying my way, I start from a blank slate that's achieved through a letting go of wants and through the conscious observation of the rise and fall of thoughts and the dissociation from my thoughts to where rumination ceases. And from there, it's all very clear to me as to what my needs are and what my wants are. To be quite, and I'm just being honest.
That's it, brother.